It's a place where the targets fly faster, the bullseyes get smaller, and the pressure to put your shot smack in the middle of the 10 ring goes right through the roof. Olympic-style shooting. From the very best shooters in the United States to the top guns from around the world, it is the ultimate test of marksmanship skill.
Chevy Trucks, Shooting Sports America.
Hi, I'm Gresham, shooting editor for Sports Afield magazine. And on behalf of the National Shooting Sports Foundation, it's my pleasure to welcome you to this edition of Chevy Trucks Shooting Sports America. We're here at the Wolf Creek Shooting Complex in Atlanta, site for all the shooting games for the 1996 Olympic Games. And joining me to cover all the action is fellow Sports Afield editor Tom Gresham.
It's great to be here with you. The U.S. is currently doing very well in international competition, especially in the shotgun games.
You're right, Tom. With clay targets flying up to 65 miles per hour and shooters having no more than half a second to pick up, swing through, and fire at the clay bird, Olympic-style trap and skeet events require lightning-fast reflexes and split-second timing. In international or bunker-style trap, shooters move through a series of 5 adjacent shooting stations set out in a line directly behind the traps. Targets are launched away from the shooters at a wide variety of angles and elevations.
Here we go in the third and final round for the top squad, a squad made up of 2 Olympic gold medal winners in double trap. You have Russell Mark, who won the gold in '96 in doubles trap men. You have Cam Rode, who won the gold in women's doubles trap in '96 Olympics. In one squad, 2 gold medal winners.
And this is the final 50 targets of this 150-round match.
That's right, it comes at the end of several tournaments. It really is the final 50 and 600. Top 3 shooters of men and women get to go to the Pan American Games.
And that's a leg up on getting into the Olympics. Chuck Redding seems to be maintaining his first place pretty well.
Redding's a California guy. Oh, yeah, missed that one. You know, it looks so easy. You say, well, they know where the target's going. They know where to hold. They know how far to lead them. How can they possibly miss him? But until you stood there and said, holy cow, those things are going fast.
What's amazing is to listen to the cadence between the 2 shots, and it's almost identical each time for a certain shooter. It's pretty easy to take your cadence from the man that shoots right in front of you, and sometimes that's not your proper cadence.
Exactly. You know, one of the amazing things is that there are so many young shooters, juniors, out here shooting head-to-head with the top shooters. The U.S. shooting team really has a great future ahead of it. Glenn Eller looks good. This 17-year-old kid is hot. You know, there are just some people who have a gift, can just break targets with a shotgun. Kim is definitely one of those. Glenn Eller is happy with his round. We're going to see a lot more of him as we go along.
No question about it.
Chevy Trucks, Shooting Sports America, is brought to you by Chevy Trucks and Winchester.
From small-town America to the far reaches of the world, shooting may well be one of the most international of all sports. Part of its worldwide appeal is that men and women of practically all ages can excel at competitive shooting. And while only a handful of countries might be considered international sports powers, there are literally dozens of countries from every corner of the globe who can claim world-class shooting athletes of their own.
Winning in the Olympics was an unbelievable feeling. All my goals were achieved. It was just hard to stress and everything. And once getting there and knowing that I didn't throw the last 5 years of training away, having a giant shootout in a sudden death to the extreme we had in the Olympics, it was a new world record. And I'd have felt horrible if I'd have just lost it right off the bat. But since we went so far and set a record, it made the loss a little easier.
Well, yesterday,
My dream is to shoot for the Olympic Games.
for the national, for my national team, and I will try to do it. I will try to fight to earn my place.
I always try to win.
I come from Bulgaria, and I am a free pistol shooter.
In international rapid fire pistol, we have to fire 5 shots at 5 individual targets in less than 4 seconds. When that happens, you don't have time to think about anything. You just have to get your 5 shots off and get them off very accurately.
Earlier, I talked to the longtime shotgun coach of the U.S. shooting team, who was named the U.S. Olympic Committee's Coach of the Year in 1996, Lloyd Woodhouse. Lloyd, you're back here again. It's been a couple of years since you were here for that great achievement in 1996 at the Olympics, and your shooters won 3 medals. How did it feel then?
It really felt wonderful then. And every time I come back, there seems to be ghosts still here, that I get that, wow, this is the place. So it's a pretty special place for me.
Lloyd, about a year before that 1996 Olympics, you predicted that your shooters were going to do well.
We had prepared properly. We had the proper exposure and experience against other shooters of the world. And we had did maybe more than our fair share of winning. And we're on the road to do that again, I hope.
Well, you know what you got facing you. You have the Olympics coming up in Australia. What do you see for that?
Well, I think that we're on track as far as our young shooters coming up. Our experienced shooters, we're keeping them tuned in to be winners. We're participating in all of the World Cups and the World Championships and the Pan American Games to gain experience and preparation for the 2000 Olympic Games.
So good luck in 2000.
Well, thank you very much. We might need a little luck, but if you're really prepared, you don't need that much luck.
And what am I doing here? Just like this?
Yep.
At a recent competition at the Wolf Creek Center, country singing star and avid competitive shooter Barbara Mandrell had a chance to try some of the international games and visit with U.S. team members.
This is the best family sport. It really, really is. We always use, like, skiing was our great family sport. Boating was. But the shooting, it knows no age, it knows no gender. It's a great family sport. Thank you.
Barbara, I know you're a skeet shooter, but these Olympic shooting games are really something else again.
Oh my goodness, it's mind-boggling. I didn't know a human being could do this. And our Americans do it so well, don't they?
They really do. You know, you have to admire these young shooting athletes. There's no fame or fortune in their sports, but they work and train at their disciplines as hard as any other athletes.
You said a key word there. The discipline is just, I can't imagine the hours and the days and the years.
Are you looking forward to shooting around the skeet with the U.S. team?
No, sir. I'm scared to death. I told him, I said, I'll be your comedy relief. Oh.
But the main thing is you'll handle it and you'll have fun.
You know I'll have fun and you know I'll brag.
Go get it.
I'm looking forward to this. Thank you so much for this. Is great. I didn't get anything. So about here. Oh. That was great.
With stadium seating for 2,500 spectators and an all-new electronic target and scoring system, this range here at Wolf Creek is truly a world-class facility.
Oh, no doubt about it. You know, back in the old days when we used paper targets, the spectators really couldn't tell what was going on, and it often took several minutes to get the target scored. But with this new electronic state-of-the-art system, the shooters get instantaneous feedback. It's accurate to within 1/10 of a millimeter, and it's really changed shooting into an exciting spectator sport.
While electronic scoring has added a new visual dimension to the game, competitors must still devote 100% of their concentration to the target in their sights.
Well, the zone is it comes to you. You can't make it come. A really good shooter makes their own zone. Women's air pistol is a very precision event. Takes a lot of intense concentration. It's 40 shots. You can have unlimited sighters. You have an hour and 15 minutes to shoot it. There's no time limit really. Like the best shooters don't always finish first and they don't always finish last.
A shooter has to be both physically fit, cardiovascular, so that their heart rate's a little lower. Also, they should be mentally fit so that if they start out bad, they can mentally bring themselves back into the game.
We have so much competition, not just from the Bulgarians or the Russians or the Swiss. The Koreans put up a good challenge for us, and the Japanese do too, and everybody, even folks from countries I didn't know exist, become excellent shooters.
Well, I'm supposed to go to Italy, Japan, and Finland, and hopefully to the Pan American Games. And from there, I'll basically be increasing my training schedule, where I'll be shooting more and more targets. Right now, I'm at about 700 to 800 targets a day.
All right, here we go with the women's final. The 6 top shooters from today's competition are shooting the women double trap. There's Kim Rode, who of course is the gold medal winner from the 96 Olympics in Atlanta. Kim has been dominating this sport really since she started shooting this. She was a sporting clay shooter. They announced many years ago that there was going to be a women's double trap event in the Olympics. She simply quit shooting sporting clay. She said, I will devote myself entirely to this sport. Not only has she devoted herself to it, she's dominated it.
That's true. And even before that, she was the women's skeet champion for the country when she was very, very young.
Exactly. I mean, she's still a teenager, but she was dominating the skeet field 4 years ago. Of course, you also have on this team Cynthia Meyer, the Canadian. She won the gold in the Atlanta World Cup here last year in doubles trap. So she's obviously a top shooter too. Here's Joetta DeMette. It's both of those. Joetta shoots for the Army marksmanship units. And this is Dina Meanard, who is already qualified for the Pan American Games. She'll be shooting women's trap at the Pan Am Games this year, opposed to the double trap event, which they're shooting right now. So she knows she's going to the Pan Am Games. I tell you, Cynthia Meyer is really tearing them up out there. She is shooting extremely well. I mean, not as good as Kim Rode, but no one does.
Being very aggressive with them, too.
That's right. Both of them are petite young ladies, not big athletes, able to swing a shotgun, point it in the right direction, and pull the trigger, which is really all you need in this sport. But no one goes straight. No one breaks them all in this very difficult game.
No, indeed. Missed the last shot.
Well, of course, as we thought, Kim Rode, of course, wins this one going away. Dropped only 3 targets out there. Incredible shooting by this young shooter. Actually, a young veteran at this point.
Exactly. 47 out of 50 here is really something.
To do well at the sport, you need a lot of dedication. Talent is one thing. You need to work at it. You need a lot of people backing you, family and friends. Country support is wonderful, and we're starting to get a lot of that, which is nice. 2000 is what I'm aiming for, and I expect to be there. There's 2 events that I will shoot for. That's trap and double trap.
My personal goals are to make the 2000 Olympic Games and hopefully be a world champion. I'm working on that right now. I like the competitiveness. You're the one that breaks the target. It doesn't matter what other people are doing. It's all about you and your mental game, what you do out there.
In the men's 3-position rifle event, endurance and total concentration are the keys to winning. Competition-style 22 caliber rifles weighing up to 17.5 pounds are used to fire at a target set out at 50 meters, and the bullseye on these targets no larger than a dime. The match is shot from 3 positions, prone, standing, and kneeling, with 40 shots fired from each position. Bob Foth, silver medal winner at the 1992 Barcelona Olympics, is no stranger to the kinds of scores needed to win this event.
So the 3-position match runs 4.5 hours. And after that, the top 8 people come back and shoot another 10-shot final. If you expend your energy during that competition, you have almost none left by the time it's over. You're just completely exhausted because of the level of concentration you have to maintain over that long period of time.
The running target event also requires the utmost precision shooting, but these targets don't stand still. Shooters must fire at a target that moves briskly across a track. Even with this added difficulty, close to perfect scores are the norm.
The most difficult part about shooting running target is becoming relaxed. We only have 18 to 25 seconds between shots, and the ability to be still and relaxed before we shoot our shot is critical.
I think that you find that most rifle shooters have a great deal of concentration and ability to focus and have a lot of patience, because what's required is to repeat time and time again the same performance in order to produce one 10 after another 10 after another 10. Because at this level, you really need to fire almost perfect scores in order to be at the top of the list.
Women have long been active in all the international shooting disciplines. Sherry Legade is the executive director of the Women's Shooting Sports Foundation. Sherry is a longtime member of the U.S. shooting team. You're aware that really it's not a new phenomenon that women are involved in the Olympic shooting sports.
Oh, that's exactly right, Tom. Women have been involved in the shooting sports for more years than most people can remember.
Well, and it's not just the U.S. teams. I mean, we're talking about all the countries send women to the Olympics in the shooting sport.
Oh, absolutely. At our World Championships in the international sports, there were 56 women who participated.
I know in '96, of course, we had Kim Rhodes. She was only 16 at the time, won the gold medal in doubles trap. Kim is still on the team at 19. She's the veteran now, if you can imagine. How are we looking as far as the other women competitors?
Well, in the United States, in double trap, Kim pretty much dominates. She does real well. But we've got some young up-and-comers coming that are 16, 17 years old. But we've also got some older veterans that are in their 40s. And that's what's good about the shooting sports is you can keep shooting till you're 40, 50, even 60.
What's the path? How does a young woman get involved in Olympic-style or international-style shooting?
Well, the first thing she needs to do is contact USA Shooting and find out where some of the local matches are. And then I would suggest that she find a good coach.
Do you find that women are interested in getting involved in the shooting sport?
Oh, they love it. They really do. And they're very good at it. The minute that they find out about it, they're very excited and energetic and enthusiastic, and they put everything they've got into it.
I'm 42 years old, and there are some competitors that are 18 years old. So I have a few years left, maybe another 10 years, but it's been a lot of fun shooting with people on the team.
Chevy Trucks, Shooting Sports America, is brought to you by Marlin and Ruger.
Bill Roy, as captain of the 1996 Olympic shooting team, you understand probably as well as anyone the kind of dedication that's necessary to go from just wanting to shoot to shooting in the Olympics.
It's a lot of dedication. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of focus on a goal that you set for yourself. And we find a way to support each other. So when we go out there, we represent ourselves, our family, the good old USA, and we take that to heart.
It's a case of practicing every day, every week, over the course of years to get up to the top. Nobody gets to see that part of it.
Yeah, if we have the right approach, and most of the good shooters do, getting out and practicing is really the meat of what it's all about.
How's everything looking as you head toward Australia?
The Americans feel extremely good about our chances going into Australia. We're developing some good shooters. We have a good core of experienced shooters. I certainly hope to be back there, and I'm excited about the possibilities.
All right, well, Griff, we have an interesting situation here. We have the match final of top 6 shooters, but within this is a separate match altogether. We have a shoot-off. It's a tie. Lance Bade and Glenn Eller battling it out for second and third to see who goes to the Pan American Games.
Yeah, this should be interesting. It's a tournament within a tournament.
But basically, second goes to the games, third does not.
And this is kind of interesting because Lance Bade has won a bronze in the Olympics. And Glenn Eller is just a young fellow who is shooting beautifully.
He really is. Guy who came from nowhere 2 years ago, just popped out on the scene. He had been shooting American trap, jumped into doubles trap, and had just torn it up, I tell you. David Alcariza, of course, shooting for the Army marksmanship unit, just tearing him up out there. And here comes Glenn. Well, he didn't have any problem with that. Chuck Redding from California, who comes into this in the lead, breaks both of those. I think Chuck's going to go away with this one. I'll tell you, he's going to come in number 1 for sure.
Yeah, he's shooting extremely well.
Of course, you remember that Lance took the bronze in the Olympics after a really long shootout with fellow teammate Josh Lyons. Each of them has dropped 4 targets. Oh, a gust of wind caught that target
went straight
just
up,
as
didn't
Glenn was shooting. It just skyrocketed. It went straight up right underneath his pad. Lance gets both of his. Of course, his goal, obviously, is to simply not open the door for Glenn Eller to step in.
Yeah, that was one of the breaks of the game. That target just bounced right above his shot charge.
Just as he touched it off, that target just jumped on him. That's good to see. Good to see Glenn back on her, break both those targets. Okay, this youngster has so much promise.
He has many tournaments like this down the road ahead of him, and he'll win his share of it.
You know, of course, while Eller would like to make it to the Pan American Games, the truth is his sights are set on Australia. Glenn Eller is really looking to make it to the Olympics. And he gets those. Now he's just cruising. He knows he's not going to catch Lance, but he's said, well, I'll just break them off. Why not? Really good shooting on Lance Bade's part.
Lance made sure of those two, didn't he?
That's right. Well, that's going to seal it. I'll tell you what, Lance Bade is going to make it to the Pan American Games, it looks like, continuing his strong string of shooting here. But really an incredible performance by the young shooter, Glenn Eller from Houston. We're going to be seeing a lot more from him.
World-class scores from a number of these competitors. A great indicator that the U.S. will be a team to reckon with at the upcoming Sydney Olympics. See you next time on Chevy Trucks Shooting Sports America. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of Go Network, go.com.